13 News Now begins with breaking news.
We're following an active situation right now in Virginia Beach. It started with a reported shooting a short time ago on Laskin Road at a pharmacy. Police tell us this happened at Beach Pharmacy, where there was a robbery. Now, dispatchers tell us one person was wounded in a shooting there. Then a wild police chase began. The chase apparently ended at the intersection of Witch Duck Road and Virginia Beach Boulevard. Now, according to reports, one person is in custody. It's unclear at this point if that person is the same person involved in the robbery at Laskin Road. Now, we have crews headed to both scenes right now, but we do know Velma Scaife is standing by live to tell us what happened at the pharmacy. Velma, what have you learned?
I'm at Beach Pharmacy, which is an active crime scene at this time. There is police tapes quartered off this whole parking lot here. We've got officers parked along the side and an officer standing at the doorway. Clear reminder to folks that this business is not open at this time. From what we understand, there was a robbery of some sort. There is talk that it was drug related. And one person has been shot, an employee of the pharmacy. We're told that it was the pharmacist, David, but we have not received, David Kilgore. We have not received any confirmation from police on this, just from an eyewitness who happened to see him being put into an ambulance. One of the eyewitnesses is here right now with me, Janet Chedman. Tell me, Janet, you were on your way to pick up your car when you saw all of this commotion.
Yes. When I came up to the Shell station right across, they didn't even have the police tape up yet. They were just starting to do that. There were a few people around wondering what was going on. I stayed because this is my pharmacy where I shop and I know everyone in there. And I saw Kelly, one of the associates, outside in her white coat with the police. So I knew it wasn't her. And then no one here said that they heard a gunshot, but he was definitely shot. It was David.
Who was shot, and how did you see him?
I saw when they brought him out on the stretcher, and he was surrounded by a team, and they were doing chest compressions. And his family had come up. They would not let his wife in the door. So it was very upsetting. I didn't know if he was coming out, how he was coming out, and I just pray that he will be okay. He's very important to our community.
This isn't just your pharmacy. These are people you know and people you care about.
Yes, oh, absolutely. And everybody cares for them, and he's just a wonderful man, and he's very young and has a young family. It's just very tragic that on a beautiful day in a beautiful city, here we are. And this, I can't believe this has happened. It's very shocking. It's very shocking.
You were going to pick up your car, but you could have easily been in the pharmacy today.
Absolutely. I'm in there once a week. Yeah. So I'm just, my heart feels very heavy for his family. And I just, like I said, I pray that he will be okay.
Okay, again, we understand that there has been a robbery here at the Beach Pharmacy. One person has been injured. Police have not identified that person to the media at this time, but we understand that it is a pharmacy employee, possibly the pharmacist. Live in Virginia Beach, Velma Scaife, 13 News Now.
And again, we are working this story for you from the newsroom right now. We have another crew on the way to the other scene believed to be connected to the shooting at the pharmacy where the chase may have ended. We'll have more information from Erin LeBeau as soon as she gets established here at this scene at Witch Duck Road and Virginia Beach Boulevard. These are live pictures of that area where you can see a big police presence right now. And of course, we're following this story for you online at WVEC.com. You can also see the latest information on Twitter. We are live streaming these pictures for you right now. We'll get back to more news for you in a moment, but we got to talk about this weather forecast. You just heard that witness to that situation mention what a beautiful day it is outside, and it is a beautiful day, but things are about to change. Let's head over to Julie Wilcox for a look at when our changes will hit us.
That is going to start as we get into tomorrow.
Police are searching for a gunman right now. The victim is a little girl. Someone fired several shots through the window of a townhome late last night at the Woodscape Townhomes on North Face Court. Now, the little girl was inside at the time. She was rushed to the hospital, and her parents told 13 News Now she should be okay. But of course, this is a scary situation for everyone who lives in the neighborhood. Now, the suspect took off. One neighbor tells us that he heard the gunshots.
I'm awake, just hear 4 loud bangs, and apparently across the street, somebody shot at the windows or something like that.
Another neighbor told us after the gunfire, he saw a man run down the street, jump into a car, and take off, heading toward Independence Boulevard. Now, police have not released any other information about a possible suspect or a motive. You're asked to call the crime line if you can help. All right, we're also continuing to follow developments in a car crash that happened this morning in Newport News. This was breaking news throughout 13 News Now at daybreak. Police say around 2:30 this morning, a man was driving southbound at Warwick Boulevard when he lost control of his car and hit a utility pole. Police say after hitting the pole, the driver crossed the median and crashed into Village Groomer and Pet Supply. He went to the hospital but was not badly injured. Police are looking into whether drugs and alcohol were factors in that crash. 2 adults and a 4-year-old child were killed in a car crash over the weekend in Buckingham County. It happened early yesterday on Route 15. State police say the driver, 40-year-old Coria, was speeding when the car ran off the road and hit several trees. All 3 victims died at the scene. There's no word on their relationship to each other. All right, when we come back, more on this scene happening right now at Witch Duck Road and Virginia Beach Boulevard. It's believed to be where a police chase ended after a shooting at a pharmacy on Laskin Road. More on this situation when we come back. U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder says the Justice Department will investigate whether 3 shooting deaths in Kansas City over the weekend violate federal hate crime laws. The accused gunman is a white supremacist and a former Ku Klux Klan leader. The killings happened on the eve of the Jewish Passover festival at 2 sites with connections to Judaism. ABC's Michelle Franson has this story.
Police are investigating a possible hate crime following a pair of deadly shootings in Overland Park, Kansas.
Cross, a former Grand Dragon leader in the KKK, is set to be formally charged in court today. Michelle Franson, ABC News, New York.
All right, we want to get back to that breaking story we've been following for you out of Virginia Beach, where there was a shooting at a pharmacy. We had a live report from Velma Scaife there. Now we go to Ernie LeBeau. She's on the phone at the scene where it's believed this all came to an end. A police chase came to an end and a suspect was possibly arrested. Ernie, what have you learned?
Well, right now we're at the intersection of North Witch Duck Road and Virginia Beach Boulevard. Now, I did have a chance to speak with some people who were standing out here at the time, and they said that there was a car that came flying down Virginia Beach Boulevard. Obviously, at this time, there was a spike strip laid out. The car went over the spike strip, went through the intersection down toward past Witch Duck Road. While his tires were flattened, he was able to turn around, come back towards the intersection, and that's when this witness tells me that he sideswiped the car and then ended up hitting another car and was trying to get out of the car. And then once he tried to get out of the car, then this witness also tells me that that's when police just swarmed him. He says that this witness tells me that the man was actually tased by one of the officers and then put into a car, apprehended. But still a very active scene out here right now. The intersection is closed. Cars are being rerouted. So if people are traveling near the intersection of Witch Duck and Virginia Beach Boulevard, you want to make sure that you take another route, because right now they are not letting any cars through this intersection. And apparently this all originated near the oceanfront near Laskin Road, but it has ended. The person involved in this pursuit has been taken into custody. And we're still waiting to gather some more details from Virginia Beach's police spokesperson. Once we get those, we will try and set up our truck and have a live shot ready for you guys. But for now, reporting live in Virginia Beach, I'm Ernie LeBeau, 13 News Now.
Again, Ernie reporting from this live active scene where, as she just reported, a person was taken into custody by police. Now, we're still working to see if this situation where this arrest was made is connected to a shooting that happened earlier this morning at a pharmacy on Laskin Road. Again, we're working this story for you from both scenes and from the newsroom, and we'll continue updating it for you both here on 13 News Now at noon and online at WVEC.com. We'll be right back. All right, before we get to our next story here on 13 News Now at noon, we've got an update on the situation happening at the oceanfront in Virginia Beach. That situation where there was a shooting at a pharmacy and then a chase that we believe ended at Witch Duck Road and Virginia Beach Boulevard. Here's the new information. This is important if it affects you. Police tell us multiple cars were shot during this police chase while it was going down. Police want anyone whose car may have been shot at to stay where they are and to contact police immediately. It's important that police talk to you about what happened with this chase. Again, they're wrapping things up and tying everything together. As you can see from this live sky view picture, it's still an active scene at Witch Duck Road and Virginia Beach Boulevard, where Aaron E. LeBeau just reported the purported suspect in this shooting that happened at the pharmacy on Laskin Road was taken into custody. Again, we're tying everything up for you and bringing it all together, but if you were involved in the shootout, if you were in the middle of this mess while it was happening, during this chase and your car was shot at, police want you to stay where you are and contact police. We'll continue updating this story for you as we get new information into the newsroom and, of course, on WVEC.com. Now to the Ukraine. Events are threatening to spin out of control. Defying warnings from the government, armed men loyal to Russia continue to occupy official buildings in the eastern part of the country. That's the same thing that happened in Crimea before Russian forces invaded. And once again, it appears Vladimir Putin is pulling the strings here. ABC's Alex Morcourt is in eastern Ukraine for us this noon.
Ukraine on the brink. Alex Marquardt, ABC News, Donetsk in eastern Ukraine.
Now your Weather Authority forecast.
Good afternoon, everyone. A little bit of the weekend spilled over here into the new week. By that, I mean the warm conditions. Once again, we have temperatures in the 70s. A couple of the computer models don't have us out of the 40s. So we might even have to revisit that. And then we're even worried about some frost issues Wednesday night into Thursday in rural spots. And then those temperatures trend upward, and it does get milder by next weekend, which of course is Easter.
So bring your plants in, bring your pets in, and go back to your fall clothes. At least
exactly.
For a day.
Yeah, for a day.
All right.
And a night.
Well, thank you for informing us, Julie. We'll be ready for it.
You are welcome.
All right, guys, something new at CHKD, a parenting academy. Our guest will explain what that is and how it'll help you when we come back. In today's CHKD parenting segment, a new program that could help a whole lot of people, from parents to teachers and aunts like me. It's the CHKD Parent Academy, and here to tell us more is Michelle Tryon, parent educator. Thank you for coming, Michelle.
Well, thank you for having me and for fitting me into this busy news day.
It is a very busy news day, but this is important information we want to share with folks, especially parents out there who maybe sometimes just throw their hands up.
Right.
Let's talk about this academy. What is it, and how is it going to help parents?
Well, first of all, when we look at where do we get our parenting education from, a lot of it is trial and error. I mean, we're educated to do certain jobs or even hobbies. Sometimes we get training. Even to drive a car, you have to have certain training and number of hours and licensed and all that kind of thing. But when you're a parent, a lot of it really is trial and error. And so you're doing what you think might work, and sometimes it's effective, sometimes it's not. And we really, when parents come to CHKD, oftentimes they're looking for solutions or strategies or routines. What can I do to make sure that I'm being the best parent that I can possibly be?
And where does this information come from? I mean, I'm sure there's studies out there, and there's years and years of people who do what you do, looking at how to raise children.
Right.
So it's a combination of all of that?
Well, there's certainly
best practices?
There's lots of books, and there's lots of, even online you can find information about parenting. Most people nowadays will look online if they have a particular issue that they're looking for, or they'll read a book, or they may ask family and friends, and they may get good advice, and some of it may be effective and helpful, but then you also can sometimes get contradictory advice.
Yeah.
So your pediatrician says one thing and your mother-in-law says another thing. Now, who do you listen to?
Who do you believe?
Who do you believe, and how do you make those choices? So one of the things that Parent Academy does is take what you mentioned, best practice. It really takes what is best practice, what's recommended by the Academy of Pediatrics, and really, you know, people who have been trained, like my background is in child development, to really know what can be helpful to parents, even when children are having challenging behaviors. And we know that some children are more challenging to parents than others, right? If children are having challenging behaviors, how do you kind of handle that? So really looking at best practice and giving practical advice to parents.
And the Parent Academy that you guys do, It's free.
Yeah, this is a brand new program. The Parent Academy will begin in April and run through June. You have a choice of about 8 different workshops that you can attend depending on what your issues are with your children or what your child's developmental age is. So you pick the workshops that you would like to attend. You attend 4 of them over the course of a couple of months. You're there with other parents. You're there with a parenting expert. You're there to ask questions and to get some feedback, to go home and try some things and see how it's working.
And I see on the list here, just to run through a few of the topics, helping young children manage emotions, developing family rules, positive discipline, children in sports. All these things affect most families.
Yeah. And so it's a great opportunity. You take those 4 workshops, you get recognition as a CHKD Parent Academy graduate, and you also, not just that certificate, but you really feel like you walk away with some strategies and some tools that will be effective in your situation with your children.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for coming and sharing this information. Of course, you folks can get a lot more about this by heading online to WVEC.com. We have a link for you to the Parent Academy if you'd like to sign up. We'll be back with more of 13 News Now at noon and that breaking news right after this.